It all started as an ordinary Friday evening. Laura and I had been married for over a decade, and I thought we were solid. We weren't perfect, but we had our routines, our shared laughter, and a bond that I believed could withstand anything. That night, we were in the backyard, unwinding after a long week, talking about work, weekend plans, and everything in between. I leaned in, kissed her on the cheek, and made a playful, suggestive comment. It was just a tease, the kind we'd exchanged countless times over the years, but her response caught me off guard. "Yeah, but I always thought you were a little small, you know." At first, I froze. Was she joking? I waited for her to laugh or take it back, but she didn't. Something about the way she said it felt off. My stomach dropped. I stood up and muttered that I needed some air. That night, I couldn't sleep beside her. I stayed on the couch, replaying her words over and over. For years, I had struggled with insecurities about my size, but I had buried them deep, thinking they didn't matter. Hearing Laura, my wife, say it out loud felt like confirmation of my worst fears. The next morning, she apologized, saying it was just a stupid joke made in the moment. But I couldn't shake it. Every time I looked at her, I wondered if she had always felt this way, if she had just been pretending all this time. I couldn't pretend anymore. I grabbed my keys and told her I needed space. I thought I could move past it, but the days turned into weeks, and the distance only made things worse. Laura tried everything. She cooked my favorite meals, planned date nights, even wrote me a heartfelt letter, but nothing changed how I felt. Every time I saw her, her words echoed in my mind. One night, after another silent dinner, she confronted me. "Eric, please talk to me. I don't understand what's going on. It was a stupid joke, and I've apologized 100 times. Why are you still so angry?" I took a deep breath and told her the truth. "You don't get it, do you? It wasn't just the comment, Laura. It's the fact that you said something I've always feared, something I've been insecure about since I was a teenager. You took that insecurity and threw it in my face." Her face fell, and she looked stunned, as if she had no idea I'd been carrying this burden. "But Eric," she said, "you've never said anything about this before. Why didn't you tell me?" I sighed. "Because I didn't want you to see me as less of a man. I thought if I didn't talk about it, it wouldn't be an issue. But now I can't stop thinking about it. Every time I look at you, I wonder if you've always thought that. If every time we've been together, you've been secretly disappointed." The conversation didn't help. If anything, it made things worse. The cracks in our relationship, the ones we'd ignored for years, suddenly became impossible to ignore. Little arguments about chores or plans would spiral into shouting matches. Our marriage was unraveling. One day, I came home from work and realized I couldn't do this anymore. I started packing a suitcase. When Laura saw me, her voice trembled. "What are you doing?" "I'm leaving, Laura," I said, avoiding her gaze. "I need time to think. I can't do this anymore." She looked at me like I'd just shattered her world. "You're leaving because of a stupid joke?" "It's not just a joke," I said, zipping up my bag. "It's everything. The joke was just the spark that lit the fire. I've been unhappy for a long time, and I didn't even realize it until now." The truth was hard to admit, even to myself. I had loved Laura deeply, but somewhere along the way, we'd lost our connection. The comment had forced me to confront feelings I'd been ignoring for years. After I left, Laura tried to reach out. She called, texted, even showed up at my apartment once, but I couldn't bring myself to see her. I needed space to process everything. Weeks turned into months, and I realized I couldn't go back. One evening, I called her. My voice was heavy with regret, but I had to be honest. "Laura, I've been thinking a lot," I said. "I don't think I can come back." Her voice cracked. "Why not? We can work through this, Eric. We can fix it. I don't think I can ever forget what you said. It's not just about the size thing. It's about trust. I thought you saw me as strong and confident. Now I feel like you see me as less. I can't live with that." The divorce papers arrived a month later. It was one of the hardest decisions I'd ever made, but I knew it was the right one. Looking back, I see now that our marriage wasn't as perfect as I thought. There were cracks we both ignored, insecurities we never addressed. Her comment was just the breaking point. Now, years later, I've moved on. I've learned to face my insecurities and communicate better in relationships. I don't blame Laura entirely, but her words changed everything. It's a painful reminder that even the smallest things can have the biggest consequences.